Shalom, this is Reb Yoseph Schreiber coming to you from the land of Israel. This week is Parshas Naso, and in it has the law given by Moshe concerning what is called a sota, a woman suspected of adultery. Now, the essence of the Chumash, and the way it starts out, is that she had a frivolous spirit within her, and that she cheated on her husband and slept with another man. Then her husband became very jealous. Now, it prefaces this in saying that she was totally secretive about it. Nobody saw her. It was concealed from her husband. She wasn't caught. Okay? The Chumash has a hedge that maybe the husband is merely jealous. But the essence of the Chumash is that this is an adulteress, that the act she committed was in secret, and the secrecy was largely successful. That's the point. What is going to happen then, because her husband really suspects her of it, even though he didn't see anything and nobody else did, he is able to compel her to go through what amounts to a trial by ordeal. The idea is that if she gets through this ordeal, she is considered as innocent and is rewarded for all of her trouble. And if she is in fact guilty, all types of horrible things are going to happen to her. Her stomach is going to swell. Her thighs are going to become heavy. They'll fall down. She's going to be considered a curse among the children of Israel. And what they do is she has a korban has to be brought. It's just barley, and Rashi explains that it doesn't have oil on it. It doesn't have incense on it. That it's basically like animal food, that you feed barley to your livestock. And the idea is that she acted like an animal, therefore we're having a korban to remind her of this. She is then compelled to basically drink water that has dirt in it from a clay vessel, and they adjure her concerning this curse, and then they dissolve the ink from the parchment that the curse was on into the water, and then she has to drink this water. The idea is to basically humiliate her. The clay vessel, they talk about saying that it's the way of adulterers to drink from fancy vessels. So as a result, she is forced to drink from something that is very crude. That's the basic idea. Again, the thrust of the Chumash is that she's guilty. She just wasn't caught. Not that there is a realistic doubt of what happened. That's the basic idea. You can look at it from various different angles, but this is the main focus of the Chumash. Okay? What the deeper idea is that a person will commit a sin, and they will hope, they'll say, I hope nobody saw me. It's the story in the Gemara in Brachas about Rabbi Yochanan, that when he was on his deathbed, his students asked him for his last words, a bracha. He said, may the fear of heaven be upon you like the fear of flesh and blood. They said, you're taking it that far? And he said, it's because when a person sins, he says, I hope no one saw me. In other words, people don't think that God saw them. The idea of the parsha, the idea of the jealousy, is that there are a number of abstract forces, kochos, in the world. The Sephorah talks about a koach of tahara. There's a wind, a spirit, a force of purity that agitates against this woman, and that is what is making her husband jealous. The idea of a ruach shtus, a frivolous spirit, the Sephorah also mentions that it's a case where she starts out being frivolous, and then she has a lack of modesty. She becomes a flirt, and after that, it's a case where she commits adultery. In other words, she goes from bad to worse. In this case, the second case, you can see what direction she was headed in, as opposed to one where there's absolute secrecy. But the idea of both of them is that there are signs that people will pick up on based on the idea of a koach of tahara, as well as a koach of paranios. That's the idea of the korban and the ritual. That just like this ritual is going to humiliate her, there's a force in the world that is going to humiliate a wrongdoer, okay? Whether or not they were caught by people, or whether or not somebody can actually do something about it. But this force, which is a servant of God, you could say it's an angel, is going to plague that person. And the Chumash continues with the mitzvah of a Nazir, which is a mirror image of the Sota, in that both of them have a strong Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, for adultery. In the case of the Nazir, he chooses to fight it. And what he does is he takes an oath, okay, but it's an oath to be a Nazir, and he is compelled to grow his hair wild. The idea is that if a person is chasing after Zanus, okay, one of the things they do is they make their hair very nice, okay, because it makes them very attractive, okay. He is doing the opposite. He is going to dress down, okay, rather than dressing up. In addition to that, he swears off wine. It only is for a period of time, but the idea is that wine is a seductive beverage, that it gets the other person in the mood for seduction, and the person gets himself in the mood for seduction. As a result of that, he is distancing himself from situations and beverages and foods that are likely to take him in the direction of his Yetzer Hara or weaken his resistance. For all of these things, he is considered a tzaddik and sacred to Hashem, because one of the ways that a person advances and goes from one level to another is through recognizing what their faults are. That's the idea of the Nazir bringing a korban chatas, a sin offering. He's apologizing just because he knows he has these tendencies. He's, so to speak, saying, I know it's bad, but nevertheless, it's still there and I'm fighting it. And because he's fighting it, what it means is that he is ascending higher and becoming a better and more righteous person. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.